What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing out there today? Today, first I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Jamie Knott. Jamie, thank you for being our co-host.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
And we have a special guest today, Darlene.
Very special. Very special.
I'm excited to be on today with you guys.
We're glad to have you. She was probably the hardest guest to ever book in the history of this podcast. Had to talk to her assistant, emails, everything. She just blew us the fuck off forever. So we finally got her on. But thank you for coming.
I just want to say one thing. Krista, if you ever watch the podcast, Darlene's Phil's wife. That's why he started the show. She's the first female. You could be the second female. What's up to you? Just saying.
Let's get her on.
Let's get her on.
You probably gotta have the same issues I ran into.
Booking, yeah. We got to get a booking agent in order to get her on.
I canceled a tattoo appointment for this.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
All right. The mics are pretty good. You don't got to move in to talk.
I just like, when I say very special, I like to get up in there, very special. So I'll stay back now.
You're good. So listen, we wanted to get you on. You're the first female guest on this show, right? Not just, obviously she's my wife, but that's not why you're on. I really wanted you to see if you reach a different audience, tell them how you got into this seat.
Mm-hmm.
Just by being with me, you kind of earned your seat. But tell us a little bit, like, where you from, where you grew up, and kind of like,
Yeah.
what do you do?
So I grew up in Nutley. It's about 15 minutes out of New York City and New Jersey. It's about a mile radius each way. Everyone knows everybody in Nutley.
What's Nutley's nickname?
Slutly.
Slutly. All right.
That does not go for me.
I never heard
that. Really? Slutly? Growing up, we were like, yo, we're going to Slutly. You never heard that?
Wow, I thought the tramps were in Belleville, but what do I know?
I mean, it's different type.
That's very different type.
Belleville.
You gotta go down the road a little bit for that.
So good.
Slumming it.
Mile radius each way. Everyone knew everybody. Everyone knows each other's lives and everything about them, even if you don't want them to. Not very diverse. And yeah, that's where I was raised. I got out of there pretty quickly after I graduated.
Cool. And what did you do after? So, when year did you graduate? You're rather young.
I graduated in 2007.
07? Wow, I was having my first kid in 07.
Damn.
Not me, Krista. We were having our first kid in 07.
You were pregnant.
Yeah, I'm working on that. Just started the gym. No more pregnancy over here. Give me 3 months.
So, cool. And I know you went to, tell us, cool. You finished high school, and then, like, kind of what did you?
Right after that, I ended up going to beauty school. I knew most of my life that I wanted to do hair. I did my friend's hair. They let me cut their bangs when we were in like 7th grade. I never did a great job, but I thought I knew what I was doing. I did my friend's hair for dances. Like, it was just something I was always into.
What beauty school did you go to?
I went to Capri in Paramus, and it is no longer there, which makes me feel old.
Well, you're the youngest by far.
It wasn't a great school, so.
It wasn't great? I mean, but it's the students.
It gives you the basics.
No beauty school is good. It's like, get what you need, get your license, get out.
Right. Culinary school is pretty similar, right? Yeah. It has a lot to do with the student. The curriculum's the same everywhere. Right. You get to cut how many cuts, how many times. Like, we cleaned one salmon once. You know what I mean? You're ready. Go get them. You know what I mean?
They haven't updated the state board test in probably 50 years.
So what do you...
Finger waves, pin curl clips. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
No one does that.
That's crazy. Bring that shit back.
So you kind of like always did hair, right?
I always did it.
Wanted to do hair?
Always knew I wanted to do it.
Just like to back up, maybe we should have started with it. Like, you own a few salons or something, right?
Yeah, we have 8 salons. And then one in Miami, 8 in New Jersey, one in Miami.
You own a few salons, maybe by proxy, like, bro. Plug your shit. Be proud. If you told me one thing, it's be proud of what you got.
Oh, I'm proud. I just want her to say it.
All right.
And I said we. Not I. We own 8 salons in New Jersey, one in Miami. It's definitely something that I never thought that I would have gotten to by 34. So.
And what's your position there? Like, what do you do?
I am a leader, manager, role model. I'm the one that understands the in and outs of the salon. So I'm in the salon with the girls every day. I'm in the trenches with them, but I'm also there to help them grow. That's what fulfills me the most, is helping people grow and seeing what they could get to and reach their like max capacity with everything. Our biggest thing is like no cap growth, so helping them to get there and give them solutions on a daily basis.
You still cut?
I stopped for a while. About 3 years I stopped after I had my daughter. And I just recently got back behind the chair.
How you feeling?
And do you want to know why I got back behind the chair? Because we went to eat at your restaurant in Jersey City. And I looked at Phil and I said, Jamie is in the trenches with them. He's working with them. He's moving. Like, that's what our salon is missing. Like, that's what we need to do again. And I got all excited at the table and he's like, you gotta talk quieter. You're yelling. And right after that, I just started reaching out to my clients again. And most of them came back to me, even though I haven't done their hair in 3 years.
Wow.
Which was amazing.
That speaks to your talent, your personality, all of it, right?
Yeah.
First of all, thank you. That makes me feel good.
Yeah. And that's exactly when it happened.
It's true though. Sometimes you got to step outside the box to just see what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, and that night, and we told you before, was a great example of like just seeing somebody in,
You know what's hard is to find your role, right? I feel like
you got to hit them all before you kind of figure out. You got to hit them all, go through them all, and then you can't do them all, right?
Right.
And so
you have to delegate.
You got to delegate. It's you do, right? It's very cliche to say you got to delegate, but it's also like you have to stick to one eventually, right? And kind of like, this is what the fuck I do, right? I know, like, it sounds like you do like operations more than anything in salons, not behind
operations,
the scenes, right? And like, you didn't just fall into that, right? So like, talk a little bit about that. Like, how did you, because you did hair, right? Obviously you opened up your salon however long ago, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're behind the chair. It's real hard. And the same thing with you, like when you're a chef, when you're cooking, like you're not doing the front of the house like this. You're just, give me a little bit.
Yeah. So 2016, we opened up the room in Verona, New Jersey. And that was the first salon that we had. That was me behind the chair every day, all day long. I was there from open to close in the beginning. We opened 7 days a week. I had no days off. It was just like, let's do this. And then as we went, I started to realize like we started to get more staff and I couldn't focus so much on them because I was behind the chair. So trying to juggle the everyday, like even technology, like the Wi-Fi goes down. I'm behind the chair with the clients. I was literally stepping away trying to fix the Wi-Fi, and like leaving my client in the chair. And like, I just didn't have time for like the stuff that the business needed. I was doing payroll at night, like before I went to bed. I was doing inventory at night before I went to bed. Like I was jamming everything in on a daily, all day.
Where was
emotionally supporting her? Was
you were in a different business at that point?
Well,
no, I was. So I had the tattoo shop already, so I looked all the business stuff there and implemented most of it in social media and the important stuff: accountant, payroll, taxes. Making sure everything works so that they could perform. Right? The shit you don't see. So like. Whatever they needed, I kind of like supported in that sense. I built out the salon. We built out the salon, but obviously I built out the salon. Once the salon opened, I also quit. Like
I just break the floor with
made a mess.
Yeah.
5 months later, I think I quit I was a union carpenter, and that's when I was like full time. Got it. The salon.
And the thing is, like, he knew a lot of the business end from having his tattoo shop prior.
Got it.
But I knew the ins and outs of the salon and the logistics. So when we decided that we wanted to open up a salon, we were like, oh, in 2 years, we'll do it. We like kept pushing it off. And a friend of ours at the time was like, listen, like there's this place next door. You guys got to look at it. Like you do women, I'm a barber. We do men here. We could like network. And then we looked at it and we were in the middle of buying our first home and we looked at each other and we were like, we can't pass this up. Like we have to just do it and make it happen.
Let's figure it out.
And there was like no fear involved in the whole thing until the day that I had to open. It was the first day that the salon was going to be open, and it like kicked in, and I was like, "Oh my God, what are we doing?"
There was fear involved. Maybe she wasn't, because at the time I put a bid on a house, right, on the one we have in Bloomfield. It was our first house we were buying, moving out of an apartment together.
Got it.
This is June, I think, or July, and then that opportunity popped up, and the money I had saved for this down payment, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to use it to build a salon. But I'm like, hopefully I have enough time before we close and I could figure it out, right? So like, did the salon pretty much like we built it ourselves. We really didn't hire anybody, to like friends and shit, and utilized that money. It was like, it wasn't much. It was like 30, 40 grand at the time.
Right.
But it's everything went into the salon, and we needed to open up super fucking fast so I could get the down payment back. And it worked out, but I'm not saying it was paralyzing fear, but it was definitely like, oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And I'm sure you could relate. Like the best opportunities are when you're not ready. They come when you're not ready. Always. They're never like at the perfect time, after you have kids, after you have a house.
No
after
such thing.
You have all of these things. No, there's no perfect time, because life is life.
You're
There's
waiting for the
always gonna
perfect
be
time.
stuff
You're
going on.
not getting much.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen, right? It's never.
Absolutely.
And it just teaches you that like you could do anything that you put your mind to, no matter what else you have going on in life.
Yeah, surrounded by people who support you,
Yeah.
have the same dream, especially, right?
Yeah.
That's the one thing, like, you guys push together. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sure it gets challenging, maybe more challenging than most, because there's a lot of passion behind it, right?
Yeah.
Not only are you husband and wife, but you're business partners. I mean, that's not easy,
Yep.
you know? And
No, it's not.
Krista and I work together. I mean,
Yeah.
she's the accounts payable manager, and it's like, I used to be on her all the time because I was more concerned, you know?
Yeah.
She found her way and she does her thing now, and the account looks different too, right? Like, you get a little bit of breathing room, you leave each other alone a little bit. But for the first 3 years, I was like, babe, I think you need to do something else. Like, I don't want to come home and have to talk about business with you, because that's not who you are and what you're about. I could talk about business with you 36 hours a day, right? Like, that's, you know, but for her, she needs a break.
Having the balance of not talking about work all the time and enjoying each other's company too.
Like, we went through a point in our marriage where she would call me and I'd be like, go. There's no hello, there's no goodbye. It's just, tell me exactly what you need to tell me, because I'm on the road in between next call, meeting, and building a family. Like, perfect time.
Perfect. Nothing.
You gotta love being in the middle of the shit. So that's the bottom line.
That's I wanted to jump in with that, right? So like, our phone calls are like that. She's like, so how? I'm like, yeah, that's not happening. Now, office hours, you know what I mean? Like, 'cause I'm in the middle. I'm driving, phone calls.
Yeah.
She gets a break, and we make it happen. You know what I mean? But like, we had to develop that understanding between us, right? And again, like, just us communicating is cool, but you know, she got outside. She has a mentor. You know what I mean? She has somebody that helps her. She does personal development, as do I.
Oh, cool.
So we get different messages so that we can attack it.
Mhm.
Great.
But you definitely have to work on it. Two things, right? So it's like, a lot of people are like, damn, you guys are fucking great together. We love you. You look good. It didn't start off like that. It started off on a very fucking bumpy road.
Right.
And we kind of like made a commitment to support each other. And I think that's what it was. Because I wouldn't be able to do, like, I tell her all the time, like, look, with or without you, I was going to fucking make it. You know what I mean? But like, she definitely made it correct, right? She definitely made it easier, made me get to this level, to this part of where I'm at and everything, and everything else. You know what I mean? And so like, but well, tell a little bit like how we met and why we met. You know what I mean? Maybe that's part of the story too.
Yeah. So
because it sounds like you graduated. Because it sounds like you graduated. You went to beauty school and you just opened salons.
No.
That's what it sounds like right now, right? And 8 of them.
I actually was not the best member of society for a really long time.
Hairstylist, I'm blown away.
Through high school, I started like dabbling in drugs, and
what does dabbling look like?
I thought it was recreational use, you know, because people throw that word around, recreational use, and for a while it was. And then I was always the person that didn't know when to stop, wanted the party to keep going, just continued the night when everyone else went to sleep. Like, there was just never enough. And I wanted it to always continue. And I lived like that until I was about, I want to say 23 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
I finally got clean at 23.
But what happened at 23 that made you want to like get clean?
So, well, my drug addiction got worse. It got really, really bad. I was in and out of like NA meetings, in and out of the program. I wouldn't go to like an outpatient program. I was like, I'm just here for like painkillers. It was always like a justification of like, I'm not that bad, I just got caught up in something stupid and I have to get myself out of it. And then when I started stealing and when I started, not having any money, not showing up to work, and this was when I was already doing hair. Like I was a really bad employee at that time as well. The people that I worked for then probably don't like me now, and that's okay. But like, all the things that I said I would never do, I ended up doing. And my addiction got worse. And I ended up, heroin, crack, like all the things that like I was like, "I'll never do that. That's not something I would ever touch, But
The good ones.
in the grip of addiction, your brain's telling you, oh, that's cheaper. Oh, that you won't withdraw from. And like, the once I got to like the harder drugs, that's when I finally hit my rock bottom. And when I hit my rock bottom, I was like, oh shit, like I actually need help. Like I actually need to go away.
So I'm gonna give a little context. There's the cool. So like we met at NA, right? And so like I saw her and I was like, she's mine. But and then I made it happen, right? But
the 13th
tell me how you got. Yeah. Tell me how you got to that first NA meeting, right? There was a situation that kind of happened. I actually read it in the paper. Then.
Oh, okay. So
what? Not the police blotter?
No, the Observer then. It was the blotter, but not
I was a boyfriend on and off with from high school, running partner.
Okay.
He ended up becoming a police officer.
That's great.
He stole from somebody's house.
But explain how. You don't gotta say his name, but explain how this happened.
Which part?
Him with the stealing.
Well, we were doing drugs
right.
And we needed money. We were running out of money. And he was on a call in an old woman's house and he stole jewelry from her house and sold it across the street from the police station.
That's amazing.
But I read it in the paper like a week before. And then I met her and I was like, oh, it's you.
And I remember eating breakfast with my mom the next morning. And like, my mom always had a TV in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And like on the TV, the news was on and like he popped up on the TV and I was like, and my mom was like, what is going on? And, that was the first time that I went to an outpatient at that time. So I didn't look bad, with the whole situation going on. But I went because I was forced. And every time I tried to get clean, it was because I got caught. And somebody told me I had to get clean. And like shortly after that, I met Phil. I started going to NA meetings too because my cousin was in recovery and he told me about meetings. So I went and I met Phil. And even with
your life, bro.
Even with that, I relapsed 2 more times after I met him. And at one time he said to me, like, you have to get out or I'm going to get high. Like, I can't keep you clean.
Right.
I kicked her out.
Yeah.
We were living together. I kicked her out.
Yeah.
Legit threw her out.
Yeah. And I thought that I could hide anything from anybody. And for a while I could.
Sure.
But it doesn't last too long, So.
And everybody knows you've been through it too many times to count.
Too many times.
You know exactly what to look for.
And it was more protection for me than her. Like, I couldn't be here.
Oh, I get it.
Eventually.
He helped me like the first time. And then the second time it was just like, listen, you got to like get it together without me here, And, and I did like that. I ran for a little bit longer after that. And I think it was like another 3 months. And then finally, like, I remember waking up one day and just being like, I can't do this anymore. But that time was different. That time, it was a decision that I made, not because he told me to get clean, not because my mom told me to get clean, not because I had circumstances that I had to get clean. Like that time I woke up and I was like, I can't do
The
this.
seed had been planted, right?
And I just made phone calls to get into rehabs, and I finally and it was crazy. And they say like miracles happen, right? I was calling and I didn't have insurance, and they were like, "No, we have no beds." Everywhere I called, because they have to have a certain amount of beds through the state.
Sure.
So everywhere I was calling, no beds, no beds. And then finally, the one place called me back like 5 minutes later, and they were like, "I lied. We have one more bed left for the year." And I was like, "I'll be there in like 2 hours because I have to go get high first, and then I'll get there."
Yeah, no, right. Talk about getting honest.
But it was a miracle because like that happens when things like that happen when you have the willingness and you actually make a decision. And when you make a decision, everything just falls into place. It's like crazy because every other time when I didn't make that decision, nothing fell into place.
Right.
Because it wasn't me making the decision.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, when I met you, I remember too, like, and you were new, but like, I kind of like bothered you and hounded you to go out on a date, and you wouldn't go out with me like forever. I finally got to take you out on a date. Tell us a little bit about like.
I think I told you that I didn't have a phone when you asked me for my number.
Oh, that's great. I don't have a phone. I don't know.
Gotta call.
Playing hard to get. Call the house. 667-6250. That's not her.
I'm hoping it's gonna be like
2843. You're like, yo, why the fuck?
everybody has her number. Like it's on the phone booth in the fucking bathroom.
Anyone can call me now. We ended up having mutual friends that we went out to eat, and you finally, I think we sat next to each other, and you were like, "Can I just take you out?" And I was like, "All right, cool, we'll go. You could pay for me. Let's go out on a date." And we ended up actually having the best time. And Phil did get arrested on our first date.
Come on.
And
We got a warrant.
and
Yeah, big mouth.
kissed him in handcuffs.
Oh, that's love.
Fucking romance. Right? If anybody's looking for a script, that's how you do it.
You can't write it any better than that.
And
It was the cuffs that sealed the deal, right?
sealed the deal. I always wanted the bad boys at
You
the
know
time.
he set that up perfectly.
Yeah.
Like, hit the guy off.
Yeah, what happened, bro? What happened?
Use the uniform really quick.
Where were you?
I was in Harrison. We went out to eat. I took her to the city. We went to my budget was like Little Italy. Yeah, great Italian restaurant on Blueberry, right? So we went there, and then I went back to Harrison and to my tattoo shop. Right, it was closed, but I had to go get the drop for the night. I was also probably just showing her the shit that I have, like, hey, look at me.
Yeah, look at me. Right.
So I parked like kind of on the sidewalk. It's a one-way street. There's no parking, like 2 tires on the sidewalk. You can park one side, not the other. Anyway, as I park, I go in. She's in there with me. This cop comes, and this cop, and listen, I was a dick before that. I just got clean, 6 months, 8 months before that, and he would always harass me. Right, I wasn't like bad, but he knew I was an addict. So back then they would just fuck with you, and he's like outside, he's talking shit. He's not like, hey, move your car. He's like, you fucking idiot, move your fucking car. I told you, you know what I mean, talking like that.
Oh.
And then and I'm like, yo, don't talk to me like that. Like that's, you know what I mean. Back then, it was probably a lot more aggressive than it is right now. And I was like, you fat motherfucker. He looked like, who's the guy on Seinfeld? Not Costanza. Newman.
Yeah.
Looked like fucking Newman.
Hello, Newman.
And I was like, Newman, get the fuck out of here. And I was like, you know, he was fucking with me, and I didn't think nothing of it. And then I was like, you know, somehow I was like, you have a small dick. That's why you're some shit like that. The small dick was his trigger. Just he was, that's it, turn around. I'm like, what are you even locking me up for? It's like disorderly, some shit, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, really? He's like, hey, I'm gonna tow your car. I'm like, listen, lock me up. Cool. I'm like, don't tow my car. Let my girl, not my girl. I was like, let her
take.
Plus, my mom's upstairs. I lived upstairs. My mom did. She's like yelling out the window in Portuguese.
Oh, God.
So yeah, leave my son alone. And so
This is great.
You know, I'm in handcuffs, and I'm like, listen, I'm at the police station's down the block, and I'm like, can you just meet me there? She's like, yeah. I'm like, give me a kid.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, the funny thing is, she had a curfew because it just like her parents were like, need you home. She called them, I guess, figured out. She waited for me outside. It wasn't that long, right? I knew nothing was going to happen. I didn't see it long.
It's like 3
I was gonna say it had to be 2 or 3 hours.
And I was like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, this might work out for a little bit. She's She's definitely like,
She's down
into
for
me.
you.
She's
That's
down for
amazing.
me, and then another one would kind of seal the deal too. Like a few years later, I had a warrant in Florida, right? It was a 9-year-old warrant, and it was non-extradition, meaning like in New Jersey, you couldn't get locked up for it. They would pull me over sometimes. They would take me into a precinct, but like I couldn't stay locked up,
Okay.
because it was just in Florida. Some drug charge I caught down there, and finally I wanted to like get rid of it. I couldn't get a passport. I wanted to get my passport because I had this shit hanging over my head. So they're like, 2004, they're like, turn yourself in. And I think I told the story before. Turn yourself in, and you'll see the judge. You'll be out in a day or two. Long story short, she went down there with me, and turned myself in. And then the judge was on fucking vacation for a week. Now I'm stuck there. She was supposed to go back. She's stuck there by herself. And through the magic of like meetings in NA and network, somebody down there, we knew somebody, kind of like took her into the house. Another female, not a male. And like helped her out, had to get a lawyer and everything. She stayed there the whole time, got a lawyer for me, helped me out, and fucking, it's times like that. It's when your back's against the wall, when fucking shit hits the fan, when you're having kids, when you're like she was saying before, like that's when, the best and I think people come out, right? And kind of worked out for a little bit.
That's when the real bonds formed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew at that kiss in cuffs, you were like, this.
But that's the thing. I need more occurrences like that to continue our relationship. So I got to get locked up more.
No, you don't.
No.
It's just different now.
It's different now.
Yeah, of course. It's different.
It goes through levels. So that's a little backdrop. Cool, right? But I want you to talk more, right? Because it seems like I'm talking a lot. So tell us a little bit of like, cool, you're now you have these salons, you've been clean for a few years, you're getting your shit together, you know what I mean? How did you transform it to just like, cool, I'm a stylist right behind the chair, to like, you're leading a lot of these salons, you're an inspiration, you're doing the operations, you're game planning, you're doing payroll, you're doing numbers, you're like, where did it change in your mindset, or kind of how'd you have to shift?
Well, I think a huge part of like figuring out what my role was one, we do Tony Robbins seminars, and the seminars definitely helps put things in perspective. So I feel like when I did those seminars, I started to figure out my potential. I started to let go of fears that, held me back from growing. Because there's so many times you could say like, I'm just like, especially from where I came from, like, I'm not good enough for that. Like, who am I to like own these salons? Or, you're your worst critic, right? You get in your head, like my past, but I had to realize like my past doesn't define my future, right? And I knew what I was capable of, and I went with it. And I think one of my goals was to be like a CEO, of operations, and really like know what I was capable of turning around and changing in the salons and growing, because the growth is the most important. We wouldn't be able to have 8 salons if our salons aren't growing, right? Because then you're just opening up another one to do the same thing that you had for the last one. The first one had to be successful in order to jump ship and go to another one and focus on that one, right?
That's still your baby, yeah?
It's still my baby.
Okay.
It's still my baby.
Is that where you cut when you do cut, or wherever you?
No, so I actually switch.
Okay.
It depends on where I'm needed. So
do you cut men's hair? I'm in the market.
I could. I could cut.
That's not the answer I was looking for. I got to be honest. I'm pretty protective over this. No.
Well, I'm primarily more women's hair. I did learn men cuts. I've done them for years. I think I just segued more into like extensions.
I don't ever cut my hair, but
during the pandemic, I cut your hair.
I love that you sent me a video of you getting a haircut last week. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing in the back of your head? He's like,
a lot, man.
Perfection.
They grow.
You said some shit like that, like tearing it up or something. Something Phil like you said, making me tight or something.
It feels good to sit in the fucking chair, man. Pay him
like a massage.
Just like, I get to like disconnect. It's true. That's a big important part of men, women's hair, tattoo, sitting at a restaurant. It's that like detached from everything else, where you could just sit there like, all right, cool.
Somebody's taking care of you for a little while, right? It feels good.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good.
I also know that I could balance multiple places and like be okay. Like I've taken on like we have partners too. So, we each kind of grab and gravitate towards like what needs help and where we need to be. But I've always taken on more than one. I know that I'm capable of doing so. I know that I could focus in more than one place and multitask, you know? So I've learned that through from the first salon on. And our first salon grew very fast. It got busy very fast. We got a lot of stylists. They grew very quickly. It started with me and my friend who is my employee too. Like we came with a full book. So we were like the start of it.
That's a big deal.
Which is a big deal. And then she became the leader. So because she is such a great leader and worked so long with me, I was able to step away and go to the next place.
So what is a leader for those of us who are not down with the lingo in the stylist community?
A leader is not a manager. We don't like managers. We don't like the word manager. You know, basically a leader leads by example. They do hair. They're a hairstylist. So they're able to give knowledge. They're also able to give solutions because they're knowledgeable behind the chair. So they're able to help all the stylists grow. They're able to help them with any, you know, problems that they might be having in the salon, with a client, with a call. They know.
So a stylist with some duties.
Yeah.
With duties, and they got to be able to inspire and everything too.
Yeah.
Court, you know what I mean?
Sounds to me more like a personality, a mindset, rather.
It is. It's a culture.
Yeah.
And because we have worked together for so long, even before we opened our first salon, she knows the culture. We made the culture together, me and her at the room. So she's able to bring that with her and allow me to be able to go to the other locations too as well.
I gotta ask, you ever feel any jealousy from the girls? I mean, I don't know.
In the salon?
Are you allergic to it, or you don't pay attention to it? I mean, it's got to be there. Like I'm totally naive to it completely.
Yeah.
And I'll tell my wife a story, and she's like, "Are you that thick-headed? Like, he's obviously jealous. Can't you hear it in his response? You know?" And I'm like, "Oh, what do you mean? I'm just the chef. Like, I'm a cook. You know what I mean? Like
One of the guys.
Yeah, I just
Same team.
Yeah, exactly. Go team."
I think people are envious. But I don't really look at it too much because I feel like I love everybody. I give love. I deliver with love. You know, I make people feel like they're on the same level.
Right.
I don't like to be called a boss. I want to be on the same wavelength as them. I don't
want to be the CEO.
But I want to be the CEO. But in the salon,
No, I get it.
you know, I have to deliver with love. Listen, there's times that you can't deliver with love. It's just not possible. There's something that you have to do or you have to let go of someone. It's shitty, right?
Right.
But for the most part, I feel like I get the best results when I give them the same respect that I would want in return.
It's huge.
You know?
Yeah, that's a leader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Somebody leading from the inside. And it takes a delicate human being to deliver with love. Because, you know, there's a lot of similarities in our businesses. You know, people in the restaurant industry are kind of like pirates, right? We're out on a fucking ship in the middle of the ocean. Like, it's people who have used drugs, have, you know, trauma in their life.
Same. We're just a female version of you guys.
You guys have scissors. We have saute pans. Like, that's kind of the
You got
difference.
knives, we got scissors.
It's like,
we're both
we got some of those motherfucker with, no doubt about it. We're cutting it up.
Don't piss anybody off.
But yeah, but it is not easy.
No.
Well, it's a cash business too, or it used to be a cash business where they would get tipped out every day, right?
Right.
They would keep their cash, so it's artistic.
A lot of places still do that.
Right? Correct.
Yeah.
But it's cash. It's artistic, right? It's very.
None of my places do.
You can express it, and so the access to that, the lifestyle,
Right.
You're in the hospitality, you're in service, you're in experience, a lot of nightclub stuff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it just.
So people used to go out every night, right? After work, basically. You got cash in your pocket,
Yeah.
like, you know,
I think
feeling good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I think for us, one of the things that changed was like, or how we started. Look, we're in recovery. You know what I mean? Like, we don't care if anybody gets high. You don't fucking bring it like to work. Don't bring the consequences of it to work. Like, don't come hungover.
right.
Don't fucking run in and out. Don't be in the bathroom for fucking 3 hours. Like,
Right.
we noticed that shit. So our culture's different, where we're not like, you can't do this shit, but we have our non-negotiable and our standard to protect ourselves and everybody else there.
Of course.
More than anything. But, you know, I think we have more fun because we create that atmosphere as opposed to telling people what they can't do. We've had people, listen, we're the first person. Let me rephrase that. We're probably the first place where, like, we've hired so many recovering addicts. You know what I mean? We've hired people that recovered and that relapsed. We have people, a couple that worked for us and OD'd and passed away. You know what I mean? Like, so like, because Darlene goes to meetings and she doesn't recruit or nothing, but they look at her like, wow, she could do it, I could do it.
Right.
Someone went to school because of her, you know? She doesn't push it, it just happens. So, you know, you're gonna gravitate to kind of what your model is. And we want to make sure we continue having, listen, it's not a recovery fucking salon by no means. It's just me and her pretty much and our
I
partners.
get it.
But they like, we don't hide it. Do you know what I mean? It's in the forefront. They understand what it is that most people feel.
And let me tell you, most of the stuff that we do in the salon, and I've learned most of it through going to meetings. You know, like and I'm not saying like how to run a business.
Yeah.
I'm saying like how to talk to people, how to help people, how to grow people, all of those things I've learned. How to be vulnerable.
How to run your own life.
Yeah.
A lot of people need a program.
Yeah.
Whether they have drugs or alcohol, whatever, they need a program.
Say that because that's how you work on yourself. That's how you figure out your flaws, your character defects, like to grow and get better. Some people have no idea what their character defects are or that they're even coming.
That
you know,
willing to look at it.
That they're even willing to.
And then work on it too.
And we're here to point them all out.
Yeah. And sponsoring other women in the program too has helped me a lot in just helping women that work for us, you know, and people feeling comfortable enough to come with us, to come to us, even though we're their bosses.
You guys take the stigma out of it, you know, like a lot of people are in their own head, like we're in a professional atmosphere. I can't really talk about that. That's not who I am. But when you understand how positive it is and how much influence you have on another person's life, because it's not about us, right? You know, we do recover, but to help, you know, the next person who needs it. I mean, that's the biggest part.
It used to be the hidden secret. Like it is like having a therapist, but you wouldn't tell anybody you had a therapist, right? Or a psychologist or take meds. Like
the Sopranos.
Exactly, right? Like nobody can know because if they know I'm weak.
Right.
So it was that for a very long time, where even drug addiction was that it was like looked down upon, scum of the earth. Now, because everybody has somebody they know or it's looked differently. It's looked as help, right? It's a disease, right? It's like cancer. Back in the day, you wouldn't tell anybody, right? Now you're doing fundraisers and shit.
Right.
So now it's a tool. And I think we're part of that because we make it look good. We make it not on purpose, not to go out, but we live our lives like with so much fun. We do shit. We grow. You know, we excel at business. You know what I mean? We have a family. Like we're part of that ideal. Like, listen, it doesn't have to be you can't go to clubs, you can't drink, and life is fucking over. It's like, no, we have even more fun. We travel, we go all over the world, we do shit. And I think that's a big part of the appeal.
It's a huge part. You guys got clean to enjoy your life.
Yeah.
Not to feel bad about the shit that you've done in the past. I mean, you said it perfectly, right?
Yeah.
It's not who you are. It doesn't make you are who you are in the present or in the future.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows you your capability. So,
but look, what stops you? Like, cool, you sound like you're doing some shit, you're inspiring women, you have fulfillment, you have these salons, you're doing this other stuff. Like, are you good? Is it like, you know, because a lot of people opening one business, they get overwhelmed, right? Opening all these other ones, hiring and this, you know, obviously it's there's no hours, it's 24/7. We know that shit, right? But it's like, how do you manage that shit?
Not in August.
It's still running. You know what I mean? The phone's still ringing. Not as much. So how do you like not get overwhelmed? You know what I mean? And how do you continue to grow?
Overwhelmed is a feeling. It's not a fact, right? So you could dwell on it and be one of those people that just get overwhelmed because you're telling yourself that you're overwhelmed, or you could be one of those people that just do what you got to do. And I feel like also having a schedule, having a calendar, having like, this is what I'm doing all day long at this time, like helps me a lot. Once in a while, other things pop in or somebody pulls me because they need something. But I don't let it get to me. You know, I always want to say like, I find balance. My balance changes every day. Balance is never the same. Like my kids, my work, every day it's different. So I can't say like, find balance. Balance isn't really a thing.
If I'm reading through the lines, it sounds like organization.
It's organization.
and positive habits, right?
And perspective, right?
Absolutely.
And, so I feel like it's what you make of it and it's what you tell yourself. Our brain is such a powerful thing. If we tell ourselves that we're overwhelmed, guess what? We're going to be overwhelmed.
That's what you're going to think about, right?
If you tell yourself that you have anxiety, guess what? You're going to be anxious.
I'm trying to talk my kids into that. Like, your brain controls what your body and your life is.
So true.
My daughter will say, "Stop, you're stressing me out." I'm like, no, that's just a thought for the moment.
Yeah.
If you do the work, that's where the magic is, right? It's inside that work that you're avoiding. And a big part of it for me this week, you've been silently on me for like about a year now, the gym. And then you left me alone. And I was like, you know what? It's just what I'm missing. All the positive feelings that I have after 2 days, it's
crazy.
It's overwhelming in the best way possible. No, but in the most positive way.
In a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I can't feel my shoulders, arms, or pecs right now, but like when I leave there and I know that I just get up and go, there's nothing like it. It's such a small thing that becomes so huge in your life, and it's little positive wins all day long.
But that's the feeling that we go after on a daily, right? So like the schedule organization, like, cool. Like I know she works out right in the morning, you know what I mean? I stay home with the kids and then I work out later, but like I'm ready. So like, how do you systematically have the same energy every day? Everybody's like, you're always positive, you're always happy, you're always on, you always go. 99% of the time I am. Sometimes there's a couple things. I know how to get back into that, right? And it's like working out, it's eating right, it's
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle, but it's a decision that you made to commit to this, right? And so, therefore, also like our kids, we have a 12-year-old and a 12-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl, right? Our son, like, kind of falls into that already. You know what I mean? He's 12, he does some other shit, but like he understands. When you talk to him, he gets it. You know what I mean? The entrepreneurship, cool, but more like what to eat, what not to. Obviously, he's going through life and still finding stuff, right? Of course. But like, you could see, like, all right, he's kind of getting the lingo. It's funny. Once in a while, he'll talk to his friends and tell him some shit. And I'm like, this little motherfucker. You know what I mean? And then he's that proud soul. It's the proud dad moment. But I'm like, you haven't even fucking done anything. Who are you trying to coach somebody? Right? But organization and like you said too, like going to the like their patterns. Everybody has patterns, right? It's what do you commit to? Do you let patterns dictate you? Yeah, the good ones, right? If you commit to the other ones where it's like, I can't, my kids, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I mean? Like everybody can find all excuses. Find the excuses to like make sure you change
to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're always looking for excuses to get out of shit. Why don't we look for excuses to get into shit?
I say that when people.
I mean, that's the truth.
When they tell me all the things they can't do or why they won't do it,
right?
Like, find one why you will do it, right? And that's always the hardest fucking one to do because people focus and zero in on like why it's not going to work out, right? And so like, and it's the mindset, you know what I mean? It's what you said before, the perspective. Are things happening to me or they're happening for me?
Yeah.
And if you break it down to that, every day is fucking, it's easy.
And I mean, even with like having 2 kids, like I was flying to Miami sometimes twice a month for the salon out there. And that's not easy with 2 kids at home, you know?
Yeah. And on IG, they see you in a bathing suit by my pool, you know? They're like drinking coconut water and they're like, check out boss bitch over here. Fucking,
we're stuck in the salon working. We're enjoying life.
And, sorry. You know, it's definitely something that is it's different, right? So when something's different, it makes you feel a little like, do I got this? You know? And also like I have to find how that would work for me, right? Like I make sure that my husband's home to help with the kids. Like there is that. And even with kids, I could still make it happen, right? I could still be there 2 times a month if I have to be. And I did for a really long time. The past year, I was probably out there, well, definitely every month.
Okay.
And twice a month. Sometimes.
Do you see the positive change when you're there?
Yeah. Yeah. And it also taught us a lot. Like it's different than New Jersey.
Right.
So we had to learn stuff. We had to bump our head a little bit. We had to know the way that Florida did things.
In what regard? Like
logistics, first of all, right? It's not like just show up. Like, yeah, it is. You got to go there. But like, nobody works in Miami.
None of us.
Nobody works before 11, really, right? So like we had the schedule of here, which is like 9 to 7 or 9 to 8, and we were open every day. We learned like nobody's definitely doing nothing Sunday there because they party all weekend, right? Okay. Sunday is like late. And then the same thing with all the other days of Mondays. I think we open up 10 over there now.
Which is still kind of early.
Yeah.
But it's better than opening
And
up.
also retention. There's people that live there, but there's
So you're closed Sunday and you open late on Monday. So that's an adjustment, right?
Correct.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
Do you stay open later or no? They don't.
No.
Nah, like it's pretty much the same as up here. So that was the schedule adjustment. Then it's like, what kind of stylists are you getting there? A lot of people move there. There's just a lot of new people, so they're not fully booked. We got to grow them more, right? It's a little more challenging to figure them out. Our clients are different there, right? They're more quote unquote high end and everything, but don't do their stuff as many times as here. It's weird. A lot of them don't live there, right? They're like, they travel, so the retention's different there. It was just different, but it's the best thing because you get to learn. You can't read that anywhere. You can't study that anywhere. You have to open it up. You have to try it. You have to figure it out. And then what happens too, again, is like all those things make you make adjustments and look at it. All right, so how are we doing we were just talking, how are we doing our recruiting now? Has to be different, right? We have to do this, or we got to reach out to these people. We have to network differently. Like it just makes your brain look at things differently. And then you bring all those things you learn up here. Now you have an advantage because they're like, oh, they're not doing shit like down there. This worked. Let's bring this over here and fuck shit up. Right. So where people see challenges and oh shit and this, we look at it as like, cool, this is a great opportunity to learn, make some adjustments, find a solution, and then apply it here.
Yeah.
So is it working out?
It is. Yeah.
Would you guys consider doing another salon in anywhere else in Florida?
The logistics is the toughest part, right? Once we have, the answer is yes, but we'd have to have systems in place where we could like almost copy and paste, right? So you grow Miami, like we did here, grow Miami out, make sure it's fucking doing really good. And then you go up the coast, whether it's Boca, whether it's whatever, somewhere where it's within an hour or 45 minutes where you can kind of travel back and forth. You don't want to be in fucking Tampa or Orlando. And then you still got to fucking drive. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. But I think Miami's cool because you'd get real comfortable with the same shit here. You know what I mean? You'd be that business owner that's had your place for 20 years and you're the old salon and, Miami like jumpstarts. Not Miami itself, but like just being out of state, different laws, different accounting, different payroll, all this like different way to look at shit. You bring it back and you're like, I could actually, like I said, you could actually.
There's advantages that you didn't know about.
And then now the other thing is like, cool, we went out of state, right? We could go anywhere.
Right.
We know it's just like, there's an opportunity. We're not like, oh shit, it's a different state. Nah, we did that. We have that in our tool belt.
Yeah.
So
do you find that, like a warm weather state, there's different weekly stuff or monthly, like what's different on the treatments they get or color or like, you know what I mean? I'm not asking the question very well, but
that was a great question.
No, it's a really good question. They get more services for frizz related, like keratins, things like that.
Right.
Most people in Miami want to be blonde and have extensions. So you definitely want to have both of those.
What's the clientele there?
The clientele is young, really young. Influencers,
Keep going.
Girls that go out all the time.
Keep going.
I don't know.
There's one more. What word are you searching for?
Oh my God, I found out the last time we were there that they make porn upstairs from the salon.
Wow.
There's a lot of like porn stars down there, like OnlyFans and stuff, and that's like my clientele down there.
Yeah, I was like,
a lot of Bitcoin. So a lot of like OnlyFans, cryptocurrency down there, Forex, right? There's a lot of like digital.
I would have never thought of that, by the way.
Which just proves where men's heads are.
They do a lot
always, right?
Unbelievable. One of the girls down there that does a lot of extensions. She told us that a lot of her clients.
So would you guys say you're the premier porn?
No, absolutely not. I
stylist.
I actually told the girl, by the way, you get some of these people that go upstairs.
I'm saying that's not a bad thing to be, like,
And then my second question was, do you hear it in the salon? And they were like, no.
My first question was, what kind of porn?
Listen, OnlyFans is like a singular thing, right? For the I don't know. I truly don't. I'm not on OnlyFans, but like, isn't it a single player game? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it could be whatever. It's just
social
like
media for showing more. Basically.
Nah, but they do porn too.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. It's like it started like that, but it like went there because you own your own shit now and you don't have to go through another company to do it. Does that make sense?
It does.
Think of it like salon suites, right? Like you kind of get the
control of
whatever you want.
Like you're producing your own music.
Or Marvin's fucking doing it.
You're making your own music, right? Yeah. You're selling your own records. I got it. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand. I think
I'm not focusing on that, but like it's just a different clientele over there.
It's a different clientele. Yeah.
Over here is
it's more of a night scene there. So
it's super young then, right? Like what's everybody 25? Like
I mean, it's young, especially for the people that move to Miami. Like they're moving there to start their life there
because they afford it. That's crazy.
They hustle.
Bitcoin.
I mean, okay.
You want to be honest? So like the women, how do they afford it there? They either work in the service industry or they got sugar daddies. It's just that simple.
Okay.
Like 9 to 5 jobs aren't really, unless you're like an immigrant that came, you know what I mean? And you're working in the service industry at a cafe and that's like your jump start. There's corporate down there in Brickell and everything, but the majority, that's the whole, like most people don't work over there, meaning like they're either nighttime working, right? Or they have
they work for themselves.
Or they have some other means, Internet's like, it's also where you see the internet down there and its potential. You know what I mean? Like you could actually, it's the American dream, right? You could actually kind of say whatever the fuck you want. It's the fitness capital of the fucking world right now. Like if you're into fitness and coaching, I go to a gym Elevation down there and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like we need to step it up. It's unbelievable. You got Wes Watson, you have Steve Will Do It over there. Like we bump into all the time. You have all these influencers and shit. You know what I mean? So like they migrate towards that culture. You have everybody in terms of crypto and everything is down there, right? In terms of Forex also, it's a couple people.
Well, San Fran basically completely picked up and moved down to Miami. I mean,
correct.
Well, a lot of the finance bros, during COVID, they just, right?
Yeah, Miami was open. You have a lot of new people down there too. You have the Carbones, right?
Right.
You have the David Grutmans, right? He's not from there, but like they linked up, and you have Messi down there. Like
I know where you guys are going to. You're going to Casadana, right?
Yeah, next time across the street from our apartment.
Is it?
Yeah.
That place looks hot.
It looks really, really good. Yeah, that's where Tao. That's Grutman and Tao.
I know. 2 guys who do it right too.
But it's cool to see. It's cool to see. Like, and I saw Carbone with Grutman together recently, and that's kind of like what we like to do, just in business, salons too, real estate. Like we like to link up and network with other people. A little different here. It's Jersey. It's very like, it's that. You know what I mean? Like. Pride and ego there, but when you see the big people doing it, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the fuck is up. Like restaurateurs, just like cool, linking up. And then me and my buddies, and you're included in that too. When we see, like, we link up, you know what I mean? And it's like, cool, that's what's up. Everybody wants to see everybody winning. And everybody wants to push. Everybody wants to like, hey, you're in the restaurant world. I'm in the real estate salon world. Let's do something together. Cool. We got this podcast. We got other shit.
Right.
That's like the magic of it coming together, where we're not focused so much on, oh, you got to be secretive. Don't let nobody in. Don't make friends. You got to protect your shit. It's like you push all that.
It's a lot about how we grew up too, though, right? Like, first thing you said when you opened, like everybody knows everybody's business. Nutley was wild like that. I mean, it's, like
couldn't wait to get out.
It's crazy.
But listen, on the flip side of that, like, recovery taught me that, like, when I got clean, like, I had to have acceptance with, like, so what?
Right.
Like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing is, like, they can only do damage to you with the information they got if you let them. If it bothers you. Once I let go of that, like, nobody could really hurt me. Nobody could punish me. Nobody could punish me better than me. Right? Nobody could do that. So why am I going to let people fuck me up, take me out of character, you know what I mean, or utilize that? What it tells me sometimes is, and I need that lesson once in a while, it's like, why am I putting energy into this person? Like, why am I super zero focused in on this shit when I should be focusing on you, that you're there to love me, you're there to support me, you're there to push me, we do that for each other. So sometimes we tend to go to where the noise is because we think we could fix it, or we ask questions, why? I don't understand. Meanwhile, we got great people here and we're not fixated. You know what I mean? On like the people that are just giving positive.
I think we've done that a lot in the last year or two, right? I know I have. I'll speak for myself from my experience. Like, I'm just trying to stay super focused on the circle because I think it gets stronger and stronger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The people who you see more often and talk to every day on the phone. And I mean, that's your network, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I'm focused on now. The people who make me feel good and feel better and do better and want to do more.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to be specific with the time that you have for who you have it for, right? Like the people that you're giving all of your energy to have to be the people that are doing the same thing as you or want to grow or want more for exactly what you want too.
Right.
You know, like if you're putting your energy into people that don't have that, and we only have a limited amount of energy every day.
So true.
Right. So wherever you're putting that energy, it could be good or it could be bad.
I don't realize that till I get home sometimes at 11:30.
Yeah.
You know, and Krista's like, I'm like a shell of a fucking human, you know. And I'm a kind of a fixer, so I like to, if I find somebody has a problem, I want to help them as much as I can, you know.
Yeah.
But if I'm not right, I'm not making them right.
No, of course.
You know,
the thing is, like, what I've learned in the last year or a couple of years, like, you hear the cliches, lead by example, do this, but like, just keep doing what you're doing, and people either got to catch up, or meet you there. You know what I mean? If you're always stopping to like, hey, let me help you. Like what happened is all these people that are with you, they're like, yo, I guess you're focused over here. You know what I mean? Like you have to catch up with them. Like you have to like keep momentum's the biggest thing we say. You got to go. Something you were touching on before too is like, so me and my buddy Antonio, right? So the other day we had coffee or some shit. We're talking about, he's like, hey, we should do a mastermind. I'm like, everybody does this. You know what I mean? Or the coaching thing or whatever. He's like, no, but we could do it differently. Like, because he belongs to some clubs and so do I. And it's cool because you get to network with all these people. And I was kind of telling you, he's like, we have so much in our circle that you were saying, right? From like business people, relationships, real estate, world travelers, hospital, all this shit. We don't utilize it, right? And he's like, look, why don't we put our phones together like a Rolodex? Write everybody's name out, start putting what asset they have, whether it's a plumber, electrician, whether it's a chef, whether it's this, you know what I mean?
Right.
Combine them, and like there's so much value in that. Put it together and then start doing it with like, let's get together once a month, right? And like, let's get as many of these people we can together, brainstorm and see how we could put all, because if you think about it, in your fucking phone's dangerous.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? Like you get anything from a fucking yacht and a watch to fucking to 20 fucking units apartment building like that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Like so like why not have that and kind of utilize that and put that together? So it was interesting.
It makes a lot of sense, but it touches on what you were saying about Miami too, how it's totally different. How everybody there wants to help each other grow. Here this state's a little more doom and gloom,
Maybe
not that I'm focused on it.
No, but maybe I did it bad. The people that I'm focused on there do that, right? They got the same shit.
It's true.
Miami is mainly New Jersey, New York.
The sun doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
The sun doesn't hurt.
The sun is the only thing that I go for.
The sun does not hurt. I mean, it just makes you feel good.
No, yeah, that's what I see.
The sun and the sun.
Listen, before we wrap up, tell us a little bit about like, we got a few minutes left. Tell us what's next, what's new, like what are you gonna do? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, so just about 2 months, I would say. I've been focusing more on our education studio that we have. Our education studio is located in our salon in Verona. And we first started with like doing just like a boot camp class, things like that. Now I'm starting to like branch out into like doing education with other people outside of our salon. I'm starting to pick up more classes on my own, whether it be extensions or to start like kind of giving it out to other people, not just the people that work for us. And to really start growing that aspect too, because I feel like there's so much potential in having an education studio and not a lot, like barely anybody has that. Usually people have to close their salon in order to have an education class.
I was going to say, you guys have the
perfect opportunity to really take that show on the road. So that's definitely something huge that I want to focus on right now.
Everything you missed at Capri.
Everything that I missed at
Capri was show everybody. That's right.
I want to, I want to get involved in charity too. That's been something really big that I wanted to get into. I want our businesses to have a purpose. Like, if we are part of a charity and our businesses are donating to this charity or our own charity, right?
No head without hair. Like,
yeah.
Do you like that?
No, we got work on it. No hair, that's tough sell. Even Marvin's like,
No, take it easy behind the
like, you
glass.
had me at charity. Let's collect the funds and we'll get the name.
It's a working name. It's a working
Listen,
name.
that's why you stay with a chef.
But having that purpose behind our business and for the pricing that we charge, and being able to tell our clients like this is what we do with some of our funds that we get,
Right.
What that looks like, I don't know yet, but it's definitely something that I wanted to pull more information on.
You're starting the process. I mean,
Yeah.
you thought about it.
Yeah.
It's important. to
I've
you.
read a little bit on
Wow.
it, like trying to start figure some things
So
out.
next time you're on, I expect a better name.
Yeah.
I apologize for even bringing it up.
A link.
Sorry.
Maybe a link so
A
everybody
link.
can donate a little.
Maybe we'll be promoting that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's some stuff in the works. And we have a Tony Robbins seminar coming up, so that should be really awesome.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
So tell them where they can find you. What's your IG handle?
My Instagram is #_DLards. On there, I post a lot of different things, me in the salon, my hair reels of extensions, because that's what I specialize in. And yeah, give me a follow.
I guess I never realized how big extensions are.
They're huge.
They're like 26.
And they're like the best ticket ever.
How do you think Phil would look with some extensions?
I have a picture, actually.
No, you don't.
I used to have hair down to here.
Wow.
I used to blow out his hair before we went out to dinner.
When she met me,
Yeah.
I had hair down to here, and I used to braid it, and I didn't braid it. Somebody braided it.
So if you let it
I
grow,
wear a do-rag to bed,
what would it?
so his braids wouldn't get messed up.
Come on.
There's a lot to unpack here, bro. But we're almost at
That's
the end of
another
the episode. But like, if you let your hair,
She's got too much information.
Yeah.
This is where she's got to go.
if you let your hair grow for 3 months, what would I see?
I look like the guy. You remember the Crypt, Keep Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
Right? It's like I have it here, but it's just like thinning. You know what I mean? It's there.
When did you decide to go fully bald?
When I started, I didn't want to be that guy that started having fucking.
Notice.
You know what I mean? Like I started. You want me to be honest?
Yes, please.
As soon as I married her, 2018.
Like he just decided that was it. I'm good
Right
now.
after.
Shortly after that,
Yeah.
I told him it was from the businesses.
Yeah, I love that. You used to blow dries. Used to blow it out before
Yeah, it
dinner.
was long. She would and then I would ride on a motorcycle.
Oh,
my thing.
dude.
And she would fucking just comb out all my knots.
Yeah. Right.
Extensions, bro. That's beautiful. Darlene, awesome. Thank you.
Thank
so
you for
much.
having me.
This was eye-opening. I was more relaxed today than I have been in a long time. I don't know. Women bring a different vibe to the set. You
That
know,
means a lot.
I think we're starting something now.
Yeah.
So we popped our cherry with Darlene.
You did.
I'm glad I could be that one.
Yeah. So wait.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thank
it. Thank you guys.
guys.